Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot and welcome to another weekly elite session. In these sessions, we do TA. You guys vote for the best coins in my Patreon community. And we also capture questions from you, Q&A. It's a 1 hour a week where we basically catch up in a small group. If you want to be part of that, there's a link in the description to join for Patreon. If you are already part of this, welcome in. Have a sit, have a drink, get some tea, coffee, and we're going to do some TA in here. In front of me, I have a summary of the coins that you voted for. I'm going to just refresh in case it's changed in the past minutes. I can see it's just the same. On the top, we have Solana, BTC, and Ethereum. I'm not surprised. There's a few coins I've never seen before in this list, starting with Hype. We're going to look at TAO and Bittensor, I think is the name. And then we have BTC MVRV. This is on-chain data. It's not a specific coin, followed by ADA and Parcl. I don't know. Never heard about that coin. We will have a look later. And then we have the dominance of USDT combined with USDC. And I think there are some patterns that we can look in there. But let's get started first with Solana. And let me remind you a few things. If you want to comment in the YouTube video, there's a live chat there, questions there. I'm gonna keep an eye on them. I'm gonna make sure that I'm not missing them. Let me see that I have in here the connection to my other monitor so I can see your questions, and I can see good day and hello from Samuel. And I'm going to keep an eye on that monitor in case you have any questions halfway through while I'm doing TA, because the main difference of this is that you're going to get spoiled. You can ask me any questions, and I'm keeping an eye. Alts are going to follow Bitcoin lead no matter what. So knowing what BTC is going to do is the only thing that matters, thanks TTP. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And I also think that BTC is going to do what general markets are going to do. And that's why I put out that quick video on general markets that went out like 1 or 2 hours in pre-market. So let's go with Solana first. That's the top most requested coin of this week. And let's look at the price action. It looks pretty ugly, I will say. So after the double top at 252, we have corrected quite decently. And if you remember, I had a bear market target, which is the length of this white line from the top of almost $300. The neckline is at 179 and is 60 something dollars. Let's see, let's get this sort of out of the way. And I place it like this. Interesting, it's not matching the $60. It used to be $60. Well, anyways, 66.79 is the target of bear market. I've been reluctant to believe that target, to be fully honest, and I introduced the target, but I've been thinking, no, we're going to reclaim this and eventually we are going to break out. So let's have a look at how are we when it comes to potential for a weekly breakout on Solana, because that's what we need really for our recovery. In this area in here, for example, when we were at 200 and something, in this area, when we were at below $200, we corrected in the channel to the downside, and we have a dead cat bounce. And thanks to this move to 71, which didn't manage to take the highs, that was enough to put this all-time high in here. And that was my exit, because I saw that this was a dead cat bounce in here. It was very exaggerated. And after that, we lost 1 level, 2 levels, 3 levels. And, now we are doing the full clock move in here. This is just ridiculous. And we are very far from the resistance. So for Solana to have some potential in here, what we need is to look for some double bottom formation and then a breakout. And at the moment, we are at an RSI of around 37, and the lowest percentile is at 30. So first of all, let's have a look at that percentile. What did I say? 30. Let's see, where is 30? That is to see potential full downside to get a range. Well, and it's even beyond the $60. It's $54. That's a full reset into that level. And statistics are flagging that level of 30, I think, because it comes from this, right? So we look 150 candles back in time, and all we can register at that low end is 30. That was the bottom of the bear market. And we don't have any other number, and we are below the median, and we are halfway towards the target. So just crazy, crazy. In terms of longs versus shorts, we are doing good progress in here because other coins that have had already some relief, they have already crushed a lot more longs. Solana hasn't. So the price has moved down quite a lot, around 62%, but longs have only stepped back 32. So there is a divergence there, which is one of the main reasons why I keep calling for that $100 as a great entry, but I still don't say I'm buying, right? So if you don't hear me saying publicly on Twitter or on Telegram, I took a long on Solana, and I tell you my areas of value, that doesn't necessarily translate in me just going all in, particularly now that we have all these moves on general markets. So I say that I would like to see that the delta longs and shorts go somewhere in the middle in here, at the very least, somewhere in the middle at the 36. And we are doing that progress at the moment. Let's look at liquidation levels, because on Solana, that is also important. And also, we are lucky because we can see the 4-hour on trading different. There's not all the coins available to do that. And we are hitting that liquidity once again. We took 115 and we are back around the same levels, but I suspect that we are already putting a new low. Unfortunately, I cannot see it there properly, so I'm gonna go into this chart. I think we're very close to put a new low if we haven't yet. Let's look at the data window. I think that's important. Not yet. I think it's not yet a new low. At the moment you put a new low, that is kind of a trigger for algos and for investors to say, okay, that's it, I'm out. And this current low is 112.24, and that low is 112. So slightly lower, but just impossible to see in the chart. It's almost the same. And also from the point of view of socials, this at the moment, I'm using Lunar Crash and I'm using the social dominance, which is very cool metric. It measures how much of all the noise in social network, how much of all the content, tweets, YouTube videos is about Solana relative to the rest. And at the moment, when we were doing the highs, we were 16%. Now it's 8%. And there is a pattern that there was in this area when we were correcting from 200 into 127. At that point, we test this band of the Bollinger Band applied to the social dominance. And that means that at that point, we kind of reset the interest in Solana. No one was looking at Solana. And when you do that at the same time with the price being at support and having corrected decently, you tend to form lows. Notice that in this area here, that's not the same recipe. You're pinching the low band, but the price is rallying. What I said, price needs to be correcting. Social dominance needs to be in big in terms of correction of social. And what we are seeing in here is a huge correction in the price and the socials getting closer to that band. So if we got interest in Solana at around 6%, that by itself is a great alpha that we can focus. And I should probably, and when Jose is gonna watch this video from my team, Jose should probably put an alert when this is getting close to 6%. What else? On price action, we see the rejection at 142. We lost the 129 support. We try to reclaim it, but with this particular week, if this is not a double bottom, call it, if we lose that low of 112, then we make a lot more likely to get to these lows in here, in which case, with a general market confirmation this week that we're going for new lows on general markets, which we're kind of in progress on that, but intra-candle, right? So we don't take decisions intra-candle, at least in that context is the weekly, so we need to wait for that. And if general markets puke, Solana can move lower, at least to the 70s, 80s. That's totally doable. If we defend the double bottom, we can do another attempt to push higher, because but we don't have like other coins. Like Ethereum has a double bottom formation with a potential breakout, but look how far we are from resistance. It will take many more weeks to get us out. And sorry, I'm doing so much Solana, but you guys put it at the top 10, so I'm gonna give it a bit more love to that. Let me know if you want to see other coins sooner. Just I'm checking the comments out there, and we have 8 people concurrent. So I told you this is a very small group, and you guys are getting the chance to see. Why is this not refreshing? I think I have too many tabs. 1 second, because I'm gonna go and review Bitcoin now. Come on. Wow. Internet is not great at the moment. All my other tabs are working, but except for the 4-hour. There you go, finally. So it's loading, and we have that rejection in here. Wow, yeah, this looks like a head and shoulders on the 4-hour. And since it went so low, that I remember saying that this was a move of 27 points, and the breakdown, 27 points get us to 14, very close to the global reset. And if you watch my video in the morning, the global reset was sitting at 55. Now it's sitting at 58. That's not a forecast, okay? So that's the range that we need to keep in mind if we were to do the full reset. But one step at the time. There's first the chances of getting to 76. We don't just think, okay, straight, we're going to 58. We just keep it in mind, because sometimes I do DCA, and when I do DCA, I want to know the full range. And I'm just saying this so you know how I'm thinking, and not that I'm telling you, hey, go ahead, take a short, and put your take profit at 58,000, because it doesn't work like that. On the daily, things are confirming some of my fears so far, intra-candle daily, which is that rejection that we have at the top of the wedge could bring us as low as the bottom of the wedge. And remember that I had 2 views of this channel up in the RSI. One view is how I have it now, which is the bearish case, where we potentially can have a rejection of the bottom of the lost channel. So that is how I place it now. But if I place this a little bit lower, like this, there was a bull case where we are putting a pivot in here. But I decided in the video this morning to leave it like that, because that is what's resonating more with what I'm seeing also on general markets. So now what we need to do, the closest proximity, the task at hand is 42 daily, let's defend it, right? That is our new low, and we need to close ideally higher to keep the chances to start battling back into the breakout territory instead of the rejection territory, and the chances of this rolling over into new lows. I think I have this low. This low is important as well, the 32. We talk about filling this triangle versus filling this channel. And I think the channel is leaving us a little bit behind at the moment. It's looking more like we're going to fill this area, in which case we have the opportunity to do the double bottom there, or put a new low here and start forming a double bottom there, or getting into the full red thing there. We need to see how we close today, really. It all depends on that. That's why the decision is not now. We monitor today and we see what happens tomorrow. As of now, not taking a long. You see me. So I do just analysis and stuff. Sometimes you guys get confused and tell me, well, you're saying so many things in the 4 hour, in one daily, and in the weekly, but I don't know what to do. And that's why I always end up saying, am I doing something? No. Is there an opportunity I cannot miss? No. Am I shorting? No. Am I longing? No. And I think the most important part of trading is, in my opinion, the trades you didn't take, the ones that didn't dig a hole in your account, the ones that you're great were because you were cherry picking and you rally enough and you took big profits. And then you sit on your hands and you become picky again. And that period, if you can stay on your hands and looking for that opportunity, great. But it's a combination, right? So there are some other periods where you're going to be waiting for too long. And sometimes I say, I'm going to I'm going to tip my toe on a trade. I'm going to go low volume and we take profits, because it cannot be either that you never take a trade because you're too picky. There are people like that. And I've done some of that as well. Any specific questions on Bitcoin? I'm going to check the comments. Why are you not interested in a short if we break 112? And do you ever scalp in day trading? That's a great question. So I guess you're talking again about Solana. So I'm gonna go back to Solana and let's see. So when did I say opportunity to short? So I'm very picky, really. The time I short, or I didn't short with leverage, I sold all my Solana, was at $270, and you can go to that tweet. And that's where I saw the extreme opportunity, and not just for uh, taking profits in USDT, but at that point, Solana versus Ethereum was at a very extreme level that it almost has never had in history. So I say, well, if this is not an entry for a short or for uh, dumping all your Solana, well, it will never be. And I sold at 270. But now, if you see this whole range, and you see a range up and you see a range down. So for me, losing the support is an opportunity for a scalp, as you say, but for a swing, for one of those, that you take at 270, you enter with one level, you go to 280, you ladder up, and then you let it rally all the way down. That was at 270. I wouldn't go with a lot of volume in here with a massive order for shorting, just because if you measure all this move up and then you measure all this move down, if you see they match perfect, right? So that is telling you something. It's telling you that there is downside, but the risk of entering a short in here is as high as entering a long at $200 this day, or entering here in a long, because that is also of the same proportions of what the volatility of this asset can do. So when I see the chart and I see all these reds there, I feel like, well, there's still a little bit to be made in a short, but that is not my game. I don't enter at those points, because you could also in here produce a liquidity hunt. You have all this support, and if this reverses on general markets and it re-enters in here, it can drag you all the way back up. So if you do your scalp and you have your risk management, absolutely. But I don't scalp because of my life commitments, family, channel, and all those things made me stay away from 15-minute and 1 hour time frame trading. Anyways, I hope that answers the question. Do you still have bots trading during times you are inactive? That's a great question. And tomorrow I have an invitation from 3 commas to discuss trading bots. And at this point, I switch off tons of bots, but it's not a matter of preference. It's a matter of available time, because at the same time that I was running my bots on Bybit, you can watch my old videos, and I was all the time saying I'm running them on Bybit. There was the hack of billions of dollars in Ethereum. So I kind of got shocked with that, and I took my profits and yeah, my cash out of Bybit, and I put it back in OKX, and I still need to do the whole setup and all that thing, and it takes a lot of time. When you run bots, I spend all my time pre-processing everything I'm gonna do. Then I relax. I sit in the relax and I let it run for a year or more. But that initial investment, if you don't do it properly, is just guaranteed that you're gonna lose that cash. So you have to do it really well. It's not just flipping a coin and switching on a bot, in my opinion. A great explanation, and it makes a lot of sense. Thank you. That's from Global Hawk. I'm gonna go with the next altcoin, and BTC. If you have any specific questions about BTC, just leave them in the comments. And we're gonna go with Ethereum now. And this beast has me a little bit worried. You know that I put out a video on Ethereum a few days ago talking about a breakout, and I left the targets for entering. And you can see in here that this week we made it to 1957. So that's the high of the week, 1957. And I told you that my entry was if we close this week 1950. It's 1937 there, but ignore it. In the video, I say 1950. And so far, this week is just a full rejection in even a potential new low in here at 1753 as we speak. And let's look at the RSI. And the RSI reverted from the state of the double bottom, and it's taking the 33 low. Okay. And that is not great. So we have still the intra candle remaining part of the week. We are on Thursday, so we have 3 more days to reshape this as a W bottom and as a breakout from the trend line. If we don't have that, there is no opportunity in here. Anything could happen with Ethereum, and we have we are in the area of value and extremely close to the area of value. I wonder if we can break that. I wonder if we can break that 42. This is delta longs and shorts, but at the moment we are at the pretty much lowest level of longs that we can have in Ethereum since October 2023. So over years ago. So and we have also September 2024, to be fair. Yeah, around that level 41. Now we are at 43. So it could drag a little bit lower than that, but we are right there at the trend line of support. And I call this area of value where we need to be looking for a long. But since this is weekly time frame, we need a confluence with a few more factors, right? We need confluence with what the hell is going on with the price action. Do we have a double bottom like this one there, like that one there, or like the inverse head and shoulders in here? No, not yet. At the moment, we are reversing it. So Ethereum, it's looking like it could potentially go for the next liquidation level. And let's go with Ethereum liquidation levels on the 4-hour. And what's going on in here? Let's remove the red out of the way. And that is our double bottom. You see, I drew it here. I left the double bottom potential. We needed to get into 2000 to do the neckline, and halfway through at 1959 we are being rejected, and now taking the low of 1766, putting a new low at 1749, and hitting this liquidity of 1721. That doesn't end, but is less below 17. It ends at 16. And then you have this big spike at 15 in a last bit at 13. Beyond that, it really decreases very sharply. So that is kind of the area that in my head resonates with really general markets uh, having a deeper correction. And then Ethereum pulling out and getting there becomes really easy. Let's see if we defend this level in here. That level is 1772. And let's see the potential for a liquidity hunt. That will look like this, right? We have that low, this low, and this goes slightly below it. And if for that, we need to see an aggressive move back up, support, above support, and that will be a bear trap, basically. They do it a lot. All right. Any questions about Ethereum? If not, I'm going to go with Hype. And, oh, wow. I didn't remember, but apparently I've done TA of this before. On the weekly, we have those levels of support and resistance. We could say, can I find support in here? It's very tough with the weekly. I'm going to go to daily. And let's see what I can find. Oh, wow. It did a revenge rally in here. It lost the support on end of February, and it hit perfectly the 53, hidden divergence, and still a higher low. Our lowest level is 23. And how can we form in here a channel up? It's very tough because we only have one way. We only have the way of the channel down. Momentum has never been up on this asset. It's so funny. Well, not for investors, but that's kind of the channel. And it won't meet with that line on the low end, I guess, because that's too low. That's 10. And 10 in the price is located at negative. So that's what I mean, we cannot get to 10. Is just too low. At least the reverse engineering RSI doesn't allow for that. So I will be interested to see if this higher low can produce a bullish divergence. For that, we get this new low, and if we can form a double bottom with a neckline at 17, while the momentum breaks out here, that will be quite bullish for Hyperliquid. That's on the daily time frame. And where can we go next? I think we could go to the next resistance of momentum. Let's see if we can get a 60 in the momentum, because we've been in the 60s before against the resistance of 27. And how high does that get us? 60. Sorry, I need to plug my keyboard. It's running out of battery. There you go. 60. I think it's 63. 60 is around here. It's just too close. So let's put it at 63. 63. There you go. So 63, if we move, at this speed, if we get there at 63, we can get a rally into the lost support, which is $20 and is just psychological level. So what I will do is, if you're going to bet on this asset, because it's betting at this point, there's no support, there's no history in the price. So you really need to look into fundamentals and trade with something you can afford to lose. as simple as that. And then bet that we are going to produce a bullish divergence, unless you want to wait for the breakout. If you wait for the breakout, then the target is at $19 from $17. So it's a really small gap to move up. Really, really tough to trade this asset with so little history. So that's what I can say. If you have any questions, if you are now here, whoever voted for that, you can add questions. Let's go to TAO. I guess here. Oh wow, this is another. We're gonna find tons of coins that were halfway through producing a potential bullish pattern. Um, most of them with general markets going lower are going to go to the next level of support that I left in the chart. Um, so, for example, on Bittensor, we had the potential for a double bottom in here with a neck at 433. We needed to defend 247. Since then, we lost that, and we are going to the next support at 163, most likely. Yeah. And I'm also going to have to move my Fibonacci levels lower, and the earlier targets are also going to be dragged down. Those are targets for whether we get into an altcoin season or not. But this full shape is now broken. We need to look for something else. Luckily, the breakout was at around 400, and so we didn't enter anything here. And yeah, look at this. That's a breakout from 43. It went to 48, and then it just carry on going lower. So we're going to have to put this like that and say that that pivot was not valid. It led into a fake out. And now we have these two pivots, and we need to be waiting for TAO to break above 39. And 39 is in the price located at 692. And now I'm curious, 692, where is that? Let's do it with a symbol. And let's do 1 week first. So we got 238. I guess I need to look into the month to see the 600. No, it's very far. We have liquidity at 194. And I guess, I have 3 months. Cool. Yeah, we have liquidity at 500. So watch out for that level. It makes a lot of sense because we've been at 500, rejected 3 times. And one time we corrected big, and we are back around that area, but now we are even lower. So that 500 is heavy at the moment, the 300 as well. So those are 2 levels for TAO to potentially reverse. Let's see confluence with price. We have 350. These levels went lower, but then they closed the week above. Then we have this full move into the next support, and now we have the one in progress towards the 160. I guess the biggest takeaway here is that now we need to look up for a breakout above 40 on the weekly RSI. Longs versus shorts, they're pulling back down. Let's see if we can do something like this. We are kind of in the area of value, but this is still a very high number. So that's another coin where the longs are still, insisting on staying there. MVRV. I guess this one is going to be a bit tough, and let's see what I can find about this one. Do you guys know what is MVRV? And let's call it MVRV. And let's do it from scratch. I'm gonna bring in USDT and on the weekly, and let's bring another symbol is BTC underscore MVRV. And let's put it in a new pane so we get it like this. So this has been decreasing. So let's first find the definition MVRV on Google, and I think I have it on CryptoQuant. Access to this. So this is an oscillator, and it's a ratio of coins market cap to its realized cap. And sometimes I read it like very fast and it sounds like nothing really, but it means where you are overvalue or undervalue. That's a very simplistic way if you want. It uses the realized cap, the market cap of the coin, and it's a ratio between the two. And when you are on the lower end of the oscillator, you are very undervalued, and here overvalue. And people have been using this for many cycles, and not just to enter but also to exit, right? So if you're in the red, you exit. And what is calling attention of investors at the moment is that even in 2021, without the blow of top, the MVRB got into the red area. And the question is, are we really this cycle? That's $1 million question, I guess. Are we really this cycle gonna get into the overbought area on the MVRV, or is this going to have diminishing highs in such a way that we just get to that trend line? And I think many people in YouTube technicals are looking into this trend line, are thinking, are we going to get just to that, or are we going to get to another top? And I think this looks similar, but not the same as the oscillator version. It seems a little bit more squash in here. So I'm not sure if what they publish on YouTube is the same, but I've seen some YouTubers placing a line in here, maybe like a curve or a line as well, to try to forecast where is the top this cycle according to this one. And people saying that we already have a double top and we are done, and some other people saying no, we need to wait for the red. So that's kind of the discussion now. And we have Killian here. So can you have a look at the RSI of the BTC MVRV chart? So that's great input. Let's do that, because I remember we were discussing this last week as well. We can connect the source to the close of MVRV. And let me get rid of the moving average. Can I remove that? There you go. So how does this look? So we got the bottom, the technical bottom, and then we have that like this. We also have this peak in a breakout to the upside in here, kind of hinting that we are entering a bull market. And from the previous bull market, unfortunately, we have the anomaly of COVID. So if you allow me to ignore that one, so let's ignore that there is a crash there, okay? Let's imagine that this actually bounced on support. If we allow that anomaly and we can overlook it, then we get support there like this, and then we break below it, and then we come to the scene of the crime. We see rejection at 69, and we go into bear market. In here, this cycle is not that different. We have around here also a test of support, this test of support with the anomaly, sure, and we have those highs, and then we have the rally into that resistance, which is going into 69 RSI. So we get one peak, one early rally, the main technical rally, the dead cat bounce rally. In here we have the early rally, the one big rally, and then the dead cat bounce one. That's how it looks. And this is just objective, honest, and no bias, no personal bias. Okay. I don't want 2025 this at this point to be in a dead cat bounce and enter a bear market. I subscribe to the idea that we're going to have another high, but this chart says that. And what can I do about it? I have to tell you what it says, and whether you want to interpret it in a different way, that's fine, or you want to do something different that I personally want to do. I think this cycle is going to have something that I still cannot figure precisely, but it's going to have something that is going to surprise us. And one of those expectations I have is that we get a puke from general markets, it collapses everybody, and then suddenly at the end of the tunnel, things recover and put a new high, not necessarily a new all-time high, but from those lows, it rallies big, and it is the most hated rally in history of Bitcoin, and then bear market. And that is one way that it can surprise us. Let's go into the next one. I hope, Killian, you're okay. Let me see your questions. We lost the ascending support line on the RSI and in the chart. Okay, I guess that's more or less what I spot as well. I think you were showing me something similar. I don't remember if I came up with this or you, to be fully honest, but that doesn't matter. You show me the chart, so thanks so much for that as well. Let's go into ADA. What time is it? We still have 15 more minutes. And I also need to cover some questions that you got, guys, left in the Patron article. Okay. Can you guys see properly? Okay, perfect. Okay, ADA, new lows. Okay, we were defending that at 0.7, but now we have a body of a candle at 62, which is not great. We couldn't hold the support on RSI, and people are pretty much losing interest. They had a huge interest in here with the tweet from Trump, the accumulation, what is it called, the national whatever, that they were going to accumulate national coins in here, and that was the interest, and that was a selling point. And now we are kind of getting closer to the low end of interest, and we could be meeting up with the red line. But really, with ADA, there is not at the moment an alpha that I can defend. The 70 cents, the higher low, was a great idea to potentially have more upside. But now with this low in here, it looks like really ugly. And I'm just being totally honest. It depends. Of course, if this week we defended 66 and we go higher and we reclaim 72, well, that's a lot to ask, right? But if we reclaim 72 by the close price of this week and we leave just a huge long candle down, then we only have the bear argument of that body at 66. So let's look at the RSI. What did the RSI do relative to this low and that low? Let's try to construct a bullish divergence. Where is this candle? Is with a lower low as well on the other side. We cannot do it, unfortunately. So I think the next level of support is 54. Let's hope that we can reclaim 72. But even if we do that, this still doesn't look great. That's what I want to say. Let's go to the next one. PRCL USD. Never heard of this. Wow, this is really ugly. Ugly as hell. Gosh, this is just a dump. They listed at 36 cents and it's down now 79% in 2 months. Well, I don't know. It's very difficult to do TA on something like this. There's not even the RSI is broken. Ah, no, it's working. Okay, let's see. Let's see what can be done. There's always something that you can say that can potentially be helpful. Okay, so this looks similar to another coin I was just looking that I think it was TAO that we were bouncing. This is bouncing on 12 cents and then it lost 12 cents. It hit it as resistance right there at 64 RSI. And now we're going to the bottom end of the RSI. What happened the last time? We were at 24 RSI. According to this level, we had a rally of 39% into resistance. So let's say that this pinches that level of 24, somewhere around here, and we had a rally into resistance, which in this case is 35. It's not going to be a lot. I don't think it's worth. I'm just doing TA because you guys want to know what's going on in here. Where is it gonna stop? The honest answer is I don't know when it's gonna stop. Statistics are saying at 25 RSI on the 4-hour time frame, but that is just one perspective. There can be a huge institution dumping on you, and RSI won't save you from that if that's the case. And I wouldn't trade this long, not in a lifetime, but if statistics do work and you rally into RSI 30, did I say 39? Let's say 30, 38. 38, that uh, barely puts the price at 8. Not worth it. Definitely not worth it. It will be a sign of potential upside if you can break out from here and get in this area. Uh, but maybe if you are invested in this, I will be looking for an exit. If you know the fundamentals of that, and you are super bullish because there's something incoming. I'm not a fundamental kind of person. I just do technicals most of the time. But if that's your thing and you want to hold it, good for you. USDT, USDC plus, and I think I'm gonna need help from Killian. And Frantisek is saying, I'm a new member, Mariano, and therefore I would like to ask how often do you come up with BTC update videos for members? There are no specific videos for members. There are articles with summaries of the articles, and there is a privilege to get notified first when I take a long and what is my plan, what am I going to do with the long, and whether I exit. I try to make sure that you guys are the first to know that. There are no videos that I publish specifically just for Patreon as of now. I haven't got anyone requesting that so far. People say we have too many videos, and sometimes people struggle to even watch the videos that are already public. Um, yeah, pretty much. All right, let's look at USDT, USDC, and Killian. Do you want to join? I think Max left a link in the elite chat. So if you go to the elite chat on elite chat of Patreon, you should find a link that says restream dot something, and the same that you used last week. And once you join, I'm going to hear a noise and I'm going to bring you in. In the meantime, I'm going to look at USDT, USDC dominance, and then we can discuss what's going on in here. This one goes up until 2018. Okay, you're going to join. Perfect. Let me do near in the meantime. So you just join and stay waiting for me. I'll bring you in once I'm done with near. Okay, so near has been in this descending channel in here. I know you joined. I'm just going to finish with near. I'll pull you in a second. We have support on near at 2.5. It was supporting here, and we've been trying to reclaim it near there. We had an opportunity to break out to 3.1, but that week we went back to support at 2.5, and it's this week that we are kind of puking below. It's an intra candle. If this week closes in positive, contrarian to ADA, it's potentially something that we can recover from. And let me explain. If I go to ADA, you can tell that we have this low, and then this week into inside the what is it called, the descending wedge, and then we have a breakout thanks to Trump tweeting. Then we sell off and we fall here as a retest of the breakout. It's the most crazy breakout with a retest if you want, right? But then after that, we turn this area into resistance. We just defended 2 weeks a higher low, and that was all the hopium that was left in ADA. If we take the closing price of 68, we start putting new closing lows. Whereas on near that, I'm not defending the project or anything. I don't have any preference. This is just TA pure. And whereas on near, if we zoom in here, you're going to notice that we have the low of 2.5, 1, 2, 3 weeks. And this week, we're breaking it, but intra-candle. So if we close this week above 2.5, we save the day. We have a double bottom, and we are above 2.5. So we are due for 3.3. So this is much more recoverable at the moment than ADA. And that's kind of what I like relative to ADA. All charts are looking ugly. No, I'm not selling hopium, but I'm doing a relative comparison, which I think is important to do, because when we have these times of weakness and you smell that additional weakness on one asset relative to the other one, you can, rebalance and do other things. People do that a lot. I should do much more of that, but I make sure that those things, you see the weakness and all of that. And if that helps you in any way, you can take it away and apply it by yourself. And I'm gonna bring in Killian. And by the way, guys, there's just 5 minutes, but if someone else wants to join as well, the same link, you just join and let me know in the comments first, what do you want to talk about, so I have an idea, right? um I don't want anybody to join the stream and start proposing for for anything weird. So I want to know the topic first. So hi Killian, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me this time?
Yeah, perfectly well. And
Very nice.
Max, sorry, I'm gonna just ask my team if you can check the volumes, because I think maybe it's the case that Killian sounds too loud, but just double check. How are you, Killian, today?
I'm fine. I'm doing good.
Cool. Let's do some TA together. And I remind people that if you want to join one day, you just join Elite and we can bring you in. We can do TA together in these private sessions. Which one should we do now? Should we continue a little bit with, do you want to explain a bit more the chart of MVRV, or should we go into the USDT, USDC?
Yeah, maybe a little bit about the BTC MVRV.
Mhm.
Very interesting find you have, and also the idea of ignoring the COVID crash, because this kind of messed up my ideas with, like, you have this one ascending trend line in every cycle, and if you break it, we enter the bear market. And yeah, this COVID crash kind of messed up this theory a little bit, but yeah, I'm totally fine with the idea and really like it of just discarding this outlier, because it was a black swan event.
Kind of, we have to. We also need to remember that the previous cycle, because of we can afford to ignore the anomaly on the lower end, as long as then we also remember that on the top end we couldn't get a blow of top because of that, due down there. So normally you get a blow of top. I mean, not normally. The previous cycles before the 2021, we have blow of top. And I remember in that cycle, everybody was saying, when are we going to get it? And the two tops of 2021, people were waiting for over 100K with a blow of top. Like in the previous one, we went to 20K and we didn't get it. So, and that is a consequence of having that anomaly. So that anomaly, we don't fully ignore it. We just price it in as a discount to the total highs that we can really get. And in this cycle, so far, we don't have that COVID. We don't have that black swan event so far. Hopefully not today. We get it. I remember I had a live stream with Benjamin Cowen, the only one I did, because now I text him, but he doesn't reply anymore. I had a live stream with him, and I asked him one question. So the effect of the black swan event in 2021 caused that we didn't get a blow of top at the end of the cycle, at the top, during the topping year. So I asked him, what could be the effect if we get a similar black swan crash in the topping year? Where do we see the effect of that? Of course, we see it in the topping year. That's the obvious answer. But what's the effect to the length of the next bear market, to the depth of that next bear market, or all of that? Because clearly there was an effect of this in 2021. So what will happen if we get that now? And I don't know. I want to be positive and think that we could go lower than expected in the topping year, but then have an incredible rally up still. That's kind of my idea. What's your idea?
I also like the idea of us currently having a bigger crash, and then something has to happen, so we kind of get another top. Maybe if it's like it's getting really bad, and maybe the Fed has to step in or something like this. I'm not sure what the reason will be, but this was also currently my main idea. But yeah, currently I expect to crash further down.
Should we look at the USDT USDC?
Yeah, of course. If you want, I could also share my chart.
Okay.
If it's fine with you.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
You need to click share.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Max, can you share the screen? Or I can do it. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, perfect. Maybe other thing, I think someone on Patreon asked if you could touch up on the topic from last Thursday. I'm not sure if this was the topic regarding this chart. With the end of last season and stuff like this.
Sorry, can you repeat? I couldn't catch it.
I think someone on Patreon asked if you could talk about this topic you had on Thursday regarding the bull market is over and we don't have an alt season. I'm not sure if this was regarding this chart right here.
I think I did a video last Friday, right after we talked about, but I don't remember. Was that the USDT USDC?
No, this is the USDT divided by total free dominance.
That's the one that I did the video. Now I remember. And what is it that you are going to show us now? The USDT, the stable coins.
Yeah, maybe one thing about this one, I'm still expecting that we reach this upper trend line. And in order for this to reach this upper trend line, either USDT dominance has to increase or the total free dominance has to drop. And so far, both of them look pretty good. If you just look at the USDT dominance, I think on the one-day chart, we have this descending resistance. And this week we had our first weekly breakout with this candle. And on the RSI, we also have a breakout. And so far, it looks like a retest.
like a retest, and that's actually bearish, right?
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
we have an inverse correlation with the entire crypto market. But if we
that
look at USDT plus USDC, so a bit more of the stable coins, we are currently sitting under this resistance, and so far we don't have a breakout. On the RSI, we still have this breakout, but inside the chart, we still don't have a breakout. So if we hold this, we could see some upside, but if we break it, yeah, we should see a lot more downside, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And I've been monitoring the chart that I did for the previous video. The was something divided by total 3. The total
Yeah,
freedom.
this one.
Yeah. Well, it was USDT dominance. Let me see if I can find it. USDT dominance divided by total 3. Oh, I still have it. So let me share my screen,
Yeah,
because today I remember that you're showing a parallel channel, but I show it different. So I did it different. Let me remove that.
yes, I
And
think you had a wedge.
yes, so I can see you now. Perfect. And I did it with 2 wedges, the one on this cycle and then this one in here. And today I was looking at the chart, and it's in the very red danger area. Why? Because you can see that in January 2022, beginning of bear market is exiting from the top of this wedge and up, right? This move in here is in April. After that, this is the most intense move up of USDT dominance over total 3. And just so people know, this is how we are doing the formula at the moment. So this represents USDT dominance over total 3 dominance, and we do it with a calculation because there's no total 3.D on TradingView, as far as I know. And if we do it with falling wedge, that one, the beginning of bear market is January 2022, and this is not confirmed yet, because for confirmation we need a candle close, and that's how critical this is. So if we close in here a weekly, that's a confirmation, and that joins the team with a bunch of other things that have never happened as well. We got also the breakdown of others versus BTC, a trend line that is historical, and we got this as well, which is just total 3 breaking below this channel on the RSI. That is the first time we do that in this cycle. We were supposed to go to this top, just like on the others versus BTC, we were supposed to go to this top. So we have never had the same thing that we get every cycle to get to these tops of others against BTC. So I started looking at this pattern because I didn't have this line. Having it like this looks like, well, it's the end of the world. But if you add this line, you still have a little bit of hope in here, right? Because you can go to this and break out from here into here. And then you can kind of translate this into later. But look at the date. That is May 2027. So to rally from here into that resistance, instead of topping in September 2025, it's around 2027. So no, I don't think that can happen. We really need in here to regain the lost support and break out that trend line, in my opinion. Thanks so much, Killian, for joining me in the doing TA live. I'm gonna now check some other questions, and I'll speak to you later. Thanks.
Yeah, of course, my pleasure.
Bye. And I'm gonna just look at the last questions in here, and I think I have some questions from Patron, and I don't wanna leave them on the table and forget. So Frantisek says, I'm happy with your response. Gabor says, Mariano, what you mentioned in this video, that possibly there will be a general collapse and after a new high recovery, what is the facts or feelings why you think this quite big recover can happen? This is just to do with how typically things happen on a crash, but to be fully honest, there are many crashes where you get a V recovery when they print money, like the COVID crash, for example. But there are many crashes that last for many years as well, like 1930s. And at the moment, we see that global liquidity is pointing up, and I will expect that they will print a lot of cash if there was a lot of cash if there was a big crash, and that's something that they haven't done all the times in a crashing history. So that is just my finger in the air, Gabor. So this is not my forecast. I could change my mind depending on what I see, and I adapt my strategies based on that. It's not something that I will say take away, forget, and then we never talk again. And when after we get a crash, you go all in, and then you get wrecked. Because I will probably pay a lot of attention during the crash of how things are going. I will look into what's going on with gold, with dollar, with liquidity, with Federal Reserve balance sheet. I mean, there are so many factors that you cannot just upfront say that will happen. What you can say is, I have the feeling that will happen. And then once you're there, you confirm if it's starting to happen. If you're going in the other direction and things are not starting to happen, then you adapt your strategy to something a lot more conservative. That's kind of the idea. And let me go into Patreon and see the questions that you guys left. And after that, we will be done. So thanks so much for joining today. And can you please do an in-depth analysis of Solana? So I did the best I could in the beginning of the video, double or nothing. That's the name of the user. And then John says, can you please expand on the topic on Thursday and explain whether the time of the bulls is really over for the alts and how far the dominance of BTC can prevent this? Well, we cover extensively, how weak and how many important levels the alts are breaking at this point in time. And let me see if I can find the dominance chart. And in here, let's focus on the USDT dominance, because it went today to almost 63%. So far, every time that we break over the wedge, we see a strong rejection. We went to 64% and then back down. Every time we have done that, that has been a great time to enter in alts, as long as you are not holding forever, because these areas is where everything goes into Bitcoin, and then if it's a rejection and you put a new low, all that flows back into, well, most of that goes back into the alts, and then you are in alts and it pushes back up again, and then you get wrecked again. So you need to do it very quickly. The expectation is that this ascending wedge is bearish for the dominance, and that we should come down into here, and I keep moving the bubble further to the right hand side. And some people are thinking that it can go as high as the highs of the dominance of 2019, where dominance was taking everything. During this period, there was very little number of altcoins. There were just hundreds of them. Now there are pretty much a million altcoins at the moment. So that is what makes me believe, well, can we really be at 71% again? Is that possible? But some people are thinking it is still possible to even go to 65, 70%. If that's the case, pretty much everybody is on Bitcoin. From those levels is where people are expecting the beginning of an altcoin season. But it's not just about dominance. It's also about where are we with general markets. And on USDT dominance, today I was trying to see some patterns, because this area in here, in this white box, is the area of the best altcoin season in the history of crypto. All this area in here. And it starts, you allocate when you are at a 470% of USDT, and all this trip to here and stay invested in taking profits up until May 2021 is the best altcoin season ever, right? And it's also flagged. You can see it also in the dominance, is this one. Dominance going from 72 to 40, a range of over 30% down of the Bitcoin dominance. And on the USDT dominance, this is what it did. And after that, what do we see in May? Well, the crash of Bitcoin from 65 to 28. And that's how the dominance peaked at 5 point something. And what I'm seeing in here is that I borrow all this area in here. I copy it in green. I did this a long time ago, probably in 2024, because I was hoping that we can enter in from these highs in here into something similar. So I copy all these candles. You can see them in green. I hope you can. Let me do it brighter. Probably in the stream is difficult to see it. And I left it here. And we did that box. It wasn't necessarily the best altcoin season ever. It was probably the worst. And then we pinch back up. So we are following the fractal, getting in here. If we stay in here for all these weeks and we continue with the fractal, staying with high levels of USDT dominance of around 6% up until end of April, from there, if we continue with the fractal, we get another leg down. This leg down that started in July 2021, and time to take profits was around November into early January with some coins. In this cycle, if it starts in end of April, and let's say you trade up until September, of course, this is hopium, right? So we need to repeat a fractal. That's how reliable is the theory. But it's just interesting that we are doing very similar moving here. And if you are starting to invest when you are already here, you're pretty much entering at the peak. So it's good to know that we are at high levels of USDT and monitor if there's any opportunity to confirm that the risk is getting smaller to allocate against that. That's what I wanted to say about this. And I hope that answers some of the question from John. Thanks so much, guys. This was a long one, 1 hour, 15 minutes, and I hope you appreciate it. And thanks so much. Next week, same time, same day, and same way of submitting your coins and everything. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.